Yay. I turned the voice off as well, so I just have to watch and see that it's being recorded. Good morning, everyone. Beautiful to see the faces. And for those who are watching later, we are going to be learning a little bit and revising and practicing an awareness, a conscious awareness of different states of the nervous system. And without going in too deeply today, I just want a little reminder that there are essentially, we can think about the model of 3 different primary states in our nervous system. What we call the dorsal vagal, so the back part or the lower part, which is where the vagus nerve and the complex goes down from the heart into digestive organs. And this is a state of immobilization. This is a threat response in the body when we're not feeling safe, and we just go into, oh, I can't be bothered, and oh, the world is too hard, kind of collapsed state. And each one of you will have a version of that that is individual to you. That's what we're going to explore today. We have our sympathetic branch of the nervous system, and many of us feel that in increased heart rate. That's what everybody's familiar with, the fight, flight. You know, when we don't feel safe and we feel like there's too much going on, get it all away from me. So dorsal collapse, immobilization, sympathetic, mobilize, lots of anxious energy, and then ventral vagal, ventral being front, is referring primarily to the vagus nerve, ventral vagal aspect that comes from the heart up into the face. Very simplified version, but it's a decent working model to help us understand and work with this. And this is our social engagement system. This is when I feel open-hearted and connected and joyful, and it gets expressed in our face when our eyes are soft. When you think about yoga, we practice a lot, softening around the eyes, softening through the jaw, softening through the tongue. These kind of actions invite us to experience that nervous system state a little more intentionally and consciously. So I wanted to start with revising that today, because that will help us in the practice that we're going to do. We're going to move into just a general warm-up, and then we will explore using that, moving through different states of the nervous system to find balance in the movement of our nervous system over a day and the different experiences, and feeling comfortable and safe in all of those different experiences. Beautiful. So I think we'll start today seated. So come to a cross-legged position if you can. And if cross-legged is not comfortable or easy, you can always just sit with the legs out. Our primary goal here is to have uprightness through the spine. So the sit bones to be pressing down into the earth and the crown to be up towards the ceiling, and the spine to be nice and open. The spine being the primary superhighway of nervous system information and travel. We don't want it to have too many kinks in it. So we want that information to be able to travel effectively and easily. That's how I like to think about it. So then allow yourself a bit of time here to just shuffle into the most comfortable version of your seated position that you can find. I really like to start to move organically and gently at the beginning of a practice and feel into what feels good for my body right here, right now. Excellent. And as you naturally start to feel the settling, allow yourself to come to a little more stillness and resting the hands somewhere comfortable where the shoulders can be soft. Close down the eyes. If that's too much, you just keep a soft gaze down towards the floor. And allow your awareness to start to travel up, soft belly, soft ribs, soft chest, soft throat, soft jaw, soft cheeks, soft eyes. And just enjoying and sensing whatever softness allows itself to emerge in the body. And notice your whole body if you can, as much of it as you are able to sense. And notice its breathing. See if you get a felt sense of tension rising up in the body again, maybe in the jaw or the throat, and invite it to soften. And bringing a hand to the heart and a hand to the belly. And just honoring these deep centers of additional wisdom inside, deep inside our bodies. Hand on heart, hand on belly. Honoring our commitment to honing our capacity to listen to these parts of ourselves ever more deeply, ever more intelligently, ever more willingly. And then allow that hands to float to your knees. And as you breathe in, keep your eyes closed still here. We're going to lift the heart up towards the ceiling and gently tip the head back. So you're in a gentle bend back. If you do need to open your eyes to look at me, that's fine. Do that and then gently shut them down again. And as you breathe out, feeling through the spine into your rounded position. So letting the belly go back and the spine round forward. I'll turn to the side as well. If you need to see, breath in, gentle back bend. The shoulders roll back, the chest lifts and opens. And then on the breath out, belly softens and back rounds. And do 3 more times. Inhale, find length and openness. Exhale, find space and softness. Again, breath in. And breath out. Last one, you can gently blink open your eyes now as you breathe in. Allow yourself to take in the space around you as your head moves up, gaze moves up. Breath out. Curling forward, and again, just gently scanning, noticing where you are in space. And come to neutral breath in. Good. And take the legs out in front. And allow a soft bend here in the knees. You can move the flesh of the buttocks back if this helps you to get more access of the sit bones towards the floor. Rest onto the fingertips, breathe in. And breathing out, we're going to soften the belly, soften the ribs, soften the chest forward. Just coming to a very gentle forward fold. Breathing into the back of the body here. I'd like you to feel the spread through the back of your body. As you inhale, gently draw the fingertips, roll the spine up. And then exhale to bend the knees out to the sides, bring the soles of the feet towards you and come into Baddha Kanasana, bound angle pose. And you can play with where feels best for you. You might want to take the feet quite far away from you. You might want to bring them quite close in. Again, you can rock a little and try to get more onto those sit bones. The more grounded into our sit bones, the more we can open up that spine. Hands down to the ankles, breath in. Keeping the practice soft here still, belly softens forward, ribs and chest. And just begin to sense through the body, exploring how your body feels in response to the posture. What opens up? What contracts? What softens? Flexibility through the body means that capacity to do all of those things, to move through strength, to move through contraction, to move through openness. And it's the same in our nervous system. Breath in to come up. Final seated position, working a little into the shoulders, cross the legs once again. If you can remember, the trick is if you don't remember which leg was in front, just do what comes automatically, and then we want to swap it over. So we're crossing the other way. Take your breath in, extend out from your heart through your fingertips. Try to open and find space. And as you breathe out, bring the right arm across. You're going to tuck the left elbow in here. And then options to keep the arms parallel towards each other. Fingertips are up towards the ceiling, or wrapping those forearms and bringing the hands together if you have the space for it. A breath in, keeping fingertips up towards the ceiling, not towards the face. Lift the elbows up. And feel the movement through the shoulder blades. And then exhale, draw it down towards the chest and round out through the upper back. 2 more, following attentively the pace of your breath. Move with the pace of breath, inhaling, taking the whole inhale to get to the top, and the whole exhale to get to the bottom. Good, last one on this side, breath in. And breath out. Come to neutral on the inhale. Unwrap the arms as you exhale. Keep moving here, fluid. Breath in, fingertips out, extended from the heart. Breath out. Oh, I forgot which one I did. Do the other one. I think right elbow into left. Nice. Either keeping parallel or wrapping the forearms. Breath in, fingertips up. Breath out, elbows to the chest. And again. Slow sweeping movements. Slow sweeping breath. One more, breath in, rise up. And breath out, elbows to the chest and round. Nice. Come to neutral as you breathe in. Breathe out to softly release the hands. We're going to come onto hands and knees and go a little deeper into the spine. Try to transition with the same quality of mindful movement. So the transitions are as much part of the practice as the postures themselves. Knees are under the hips, hands under the shoulders. Toes are tucked here to begin with. Again, breathing in to come into a bend back. Belly goes forward, head lifts, tailbone lifts. Follow the pace of your breath. Exhale, draw the belly in and round through the spine. Again, see if you notice subtle differences. It's the same position, same pose, breath in, belly down, head and tailbone up. but in a slightly different position. So how did it feel when your pelvis was connected to the earth versus now when you're supported through the hands and knees? Exhale round. Just notice how your body responds. Breath in, belly down, head and tailbone up. And breath out to round. And then inhale to neutral. And exhale to take the knees out nice and wide, toes touching, hips back to heels for child's pose. If this is restrictive or difficult, don't have to go too far. The arms can just rest down onto the forearms. If there's more space, hips all the way back to the heels and arms all the way long, forehead to the floor. And when we rest into a pose, take pause in the pose. We're invited to practice that deeper awareness down, noticing how the body feels. If it's helpful, you can even put language to it. I feel tingly, heavy, thick, hot. Notice what you feel in different places in the body. Good. Rising up on the in-breath, onto all fours once again. Exhale to find your alignment. And bring your right leg through. We're going to start with a low lunge to work a little bit into the hips. Today I'm going to do a slightly different movement in a moment for releasing the psoas through pendicular movement that we've practiced a little bit before. So fingertips either side of your foot. Taking a breath in. And as you breathe out, I want you to squeeze a little bit, about 20% effort between the thighs, heading them towards each other, and then allow your hips to come down and forward. In a low lunge, the knee can come past the line of the toes, that's okay, but if you notice the heels start to peel up, shuffle this front foot forward, and then check that you've still got a little bit of structure, a little bit of activation in those inner thighs, holding your hips in a nice alignment. Begin to attune to the breath. And invite deeper attention inside the body. Good. Inhale to bring the hips back. And exhale to release. I'm going to swap it over, bringing the left leg through for low lunge. Great. Inhale here. And then exhale, this gentle activation between the thighs and letting the hips come down and forward towards the floor. Great. I just need to make a little adjustment on here. Yeah, gorgeous. It's great, Claire. Welcome. And then inhale to bring the hips back. Exhale to release. Awesome. I'm going to come down into your back. So we're going to do a couple of very specific psoas release positions. So we're sitting a lot. Most of us are sitting a lot. I got an email from one of my mentors, a yoga teacher, and I can't remember what I think he said, sitting too much is even more dangerous than smoking or something was his clickbait title. But he was talking about how unnatural it is for our bodies to be seated for so long without movement, and how we get so much tightness through the psoas. And we've talked before about how important the psoas is, not only for posturally connecting our legs into our spines, into the torso, and allowing for good hip movement, but also our kidneys, our adrenals, a big important part connecting to our nervous system, sit on the top of the psoas. We want that muscle to be nice and flexible and supple and not locked like it is for many of us. So to come down onto our backs and just offer that psoas a little bit of juicy love and release. Coming all the way down, keep your knees bent, soles of the feet on the floor. The first position, and I'll remind you how to do the pendicular movement breathing as we go through the posture. I'd like you to lift your right knee up and have everything a bit flexed here. So 90 degrees at the knees, 90 degrees at the ankle. And there's a little bit of activation. It's not flopping in the air here, but it's not tense. Again, think 15, 20% effort. You're going to place the hands here, just down from the knees on the thigh. As you take a breath in, draw the knee towards you and contract a little bit. So we bring some tightness in. And then as you exhale, slowly release that tension. Move with the pace of breath. And then take one full breath, really feeling into the release. Hands back into the position, breath in, draw the knee towards you, have this sense of contraction. And then slowly release it. Take the whole exhale to allow that release to happen. So even though my hands are here, there's no pressure at the end of the movement. Full breath in the released position. And one more. Inhale to contract. And exhale. Slowly soften, let the brain really become aware and feel through that softening. And then marinate in it. Breath in and breath out. As you're breathing out, the sole of that right foot can come to the floor. And I'd like you to extend both legs long and just feel. Notice if you feel any difference, particularly down through the front of the hips, the right versus the left. For me, this one feels a lot more open already. Good. Feet back onto the floor, knees back. Bringing up the left knee. Check for your activations, 90 degrees at the knee, 90 degrees at the ankle, and hands to the leg. Breath in to contract. So you're drawing that knee towards you and resisting with the hands. And then slowly exhale. And a full breath in place. And again, drawing the knee up towards you against the resistance of the hand as you breathe in, find that contraction. And breathe out to soften. Slowly. Full breath in place. And one more time, inhale. Slow exhale, slow soften. And full breath in place. Good, release those both feet down. Extend the legs, and now again, just feel through the front of both hips for a moment. drawing the soles of the feet back toward each other. We're going to stay on our backs in a supine position, but the soles of the feet here are touching. We come to Supta Baddha Kanasana, bound ankle Baddha Kanasana, and Supta means supine. And I'd like you to bring your hands to your belly for this one. And bring your awareness to the invitation to the pelvis, the groins, the hips here, to really soften and open safely. So I want your hands here, so there's that sense of reassurance for the body that you've got it, it's being held. Following the rise and fall of the breath. Beautiful. Bringing the knees up. We're going to do one more Psoas release, somatic movement-based release. Bringing the knees up. I'd like you to extend your right leg straight. I have to remember how to do this one actually. So I'll talk you through, and if I have to correct it as I go along, if I've forgotten the exact sequence, forgive me and we'll start again. What we do on the in-breath is actually increase the arch for a moment here of the lower back. So we tilt the pelvis forward as we breathe in. Then we do a complete melt on the out breath and let that lower back melt all the way back into the floor. I'm going to practice just that twice more. Breath in, increase the arch, tilt the pelvis, front of the hip bones here forward, up and forward a little bit. So you increase this arch, and then exhale and melt it back down. One more, inhale. So notice how there's a gentle contraction here on the inhale, and then a slow, soft, and melt back down into the floor. Staying in your melted position now, and as you exhale, draw your knee up, so your extended leg, bring it all the way up, and we're going to scrunch up a little bit to a gentle contraction. Elbows towards the knee, and then release long. Beautiful. I'm going to speed it up just a tiny bit here now. Breath in, tilt the pelvis forward. Breath out, slow melt, and then start to bring this right leg up towards the head, and gently bring the elbows towards that right knee. And then release. Leg long. Last one, breath in, tilt the pelvis forward. Exhale, melt the lower back down, and then we're going to come into that little curl, bringing the right knee towards the elbows towards the right knee, and then a nice long release. Beautiful. So just the foundations. Next week we'll go a bit deeper with this particular movement. I just want you to get familiar with it today and start to feel some of the openness coming into that hip. Let's swap the legs over. Sole of the right foot onto the floor and extending long through the left leg. 3 times just through the pelvis. So breath in, front of the pelvis up and forward, increasing the arch of the lower back, and then exhale, soften it onto the floor. Again, as you inhale, tilt. And as you exhale, soften. Take a breath here. Inhale to tilt. And exhale to soften. Good. Inhale, tilt. Now, as you exhale and soften, back goes down to the floor. Left knee comes towards you, just in this straight line, and elbows towards that knee. And then release long to the floor. Take a breath. Inhale to tilt the pelvis. And then exhale to soften, gently drawing this knee up. Curling in. And then release. A breath here. Final one, inhale to tilt. And exhale to melt. Draw the knee up. Gentle curl. And then soften. Take a breath here. And then extend the legs nice and long. And just feeling through the pelvis and the hips. So I've noticed that often people can feel quite strong through the legs and then maybe build strength through the spine and flexibility, and can get quite blocked in the pelvis and through the psoas that actually allows those two parts of our bodies to operate together. So sometimes we need to bring extra attention into this area. So that's what I've done today to help us. We're going to stand up in a moment and work on balance a little bit. And I find that it's really helpful for balance when we start to waken up the intelligence of the connection between the two halves of our bodies, which is facilitated through that psoas muscle, in part. Nice. Bringing the knees up towards your chest, rolling to the side, and coming all the way up to standing. Great work. I just want you to walk a little bit on the mat and rock the hips a little bit from side to side and forward, just moving gently and just feeling through the hip joints. Noticing where it feels good, noticing where you have space, noticing whether there's any contraction. And just loosening a little more. Awesome. Coming to Tadasana for a moment. The feet underneath the hips, toes slightly turned in, so about 0.5 centimetre of a turn here. The toes in, allowing these inner thighs to wrap and roll inward and broaden through the sacrum. Just going to ground, so palms facing forward. Lift your toes up, spread them wide, allow them to come back down to the earth and gently grip. Soften the knees a little and place some weight back into the heels. Soften the belly and place some weight down into your sit bones. Really let your pelvis be moving down towards the earth for a moment here. Nice. Palms forward, fingertips down towards the earth. Heart open and actually lifted. Neck nice and long. We can gently turn the head. Try to just rotate on the central axis, looking out over your left shoulder. Come to center. And you can look as well as you move, gaze around you at what you can see. And turning your head to the right. Beautiful. I'm going to relax for a moment. Take the weight into the right leg. Hands to the hips, come to toe tip on the left foot. We're going to take tree pose, just standard yoga version of it for the first round. But feeling through this connection through the psoas that we've opened up, legs stable and steady on the earth, and torso and heart will be opening up, lightening and lifting up towards the sky. Beautiful. Then taking your version of the pose, you can bring the sole of the foot just to rest here next to the right ankle. You can bring it heel just above the right knee. Or if you have the space, right up into the top of that inner thigh. So you just take the version of the pose that feels good for you today. Awesome. Soften that standing knee a little to give you more flexibility in your balance. Let the pelvis again be moving down towards the earth. Then we're going to breathe from the foot, drawing up through our feet, energy, stability from the earth, up into the pelvis, up through the spine, and then growing up into our arms, out to our fingertips. And if you can, gaze forward, find a spot, some like fleck of paint or dust, whatever you can see in front of you that's still. Allow your eyes to gaze at that for a moment. And then just experiment here for a few breaths. What happens if you tense up a little bit more? How does the pose feel? You're really active through the muscles. And then if you really soften as much as you possibly can, how does the posture feel? How does your body feel? How do you feel? And then find the sweet spot for you. Good. Gently floating the hands down. Come slowly, hands to the hips. If you can, losing balance, bring your knee to the front and then gently set the foot to the floor. Awesome. Beautiful. We're going to swap it over to the other side. Setting the toes, so widening the toes again on that left foot. Just check, reset, come to toe tip on the right foot, and then place that foot wherever you want it to go that feels good for you today. Nice. And then again, drawing up that groundedness through the foot, up into the leg, into the pelvis. Allow the pelvis to be moving down towards the floor. Energy up into the spine, up into the arms, and out into the fingertips. Notice how you feel on this side, if it's different from the other side. And again, explore the range of experience in your body. If you really make it strong and you reach as much as you can and the muscles are all active, what does that feel like? And if you fully soften and melt and relax into it, what does that feel like? Beautiful. And then gently bringing the hands down, back to the hips, knees to the center and down to the floor. Good. I'm going to stand a bit wider for a moment here and simplify the pose. So I want you to think, we discussed at the beginning that there are these three primary states in the nervous system. One we call dorsal vagal immobilization. So when we feel so afraid that we feel like we can't do anything anymore, and there's a sense of just collapsing and giving up. Gently and tolerably, I'd like you to reflect on this kind of experience and what it feels like in your body. And with your hands again, we're going to keep the hands on the belly here just to keep ourselves supported through the practice. Closing down your eyes And if you reflect on that type of feeling, of times when you feel that, ooh, really can't be bothered, heaviness, notice where you feel it in your body. And just follow your intuitive nudges in this. And if you go into that place in the body and then feel from there, what does your whole body feel like? And we're going to bring our arms and invite our treeness to come into this, our tree shape. So feeling that heaviness or whatever it is through your body, stuckness, softness. Bringing your arms and your shoulders and your spine and your legs into the shape of what would your tree be doing? What would the tree feel like in that state? Makes me think of a gnarly old mulberry tree with those drooping branches. Beautiful. And just take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. Return to neutral, hands back to the belly. And then inviting in an experience of our sympathetic tree. Just notice first, if you think about a time, if you bring to mind and to body that type of experience where you're highly energized, highly activated, fight, flight mode, and notice where that happens for you in the body. So I'll tell you mine. For me, the dorsal was quite deep down here in my belly, and sympathetic for me lives here in the solar plexus. And for some people, it lives in the head. Ooh. Hands to the belly to hold yourself. As you allow yourself to feel that energy in your body. And then again, inviting in a shape to your tree, lifting up the arms into the position that you feel this expresses this energy in your body. And just allow yourself to feel that for a moment. Excellent work. Soften back out of it. Deep breath in and out. And hands to the belly. And then allowing and inviting in an experience of our ventral vagal experience. When we feel relaxed and open and connected and the world feels safe and full of possibility. Hands to the belly. Notice where you experience that most obviously within your own body. Allow yourself to enjoy that feeling. And then again, opening up the arms into an expression of this energy through your body, your ventral vagal tree. Beautiful. Good, and then gently floating the hands back down again. Come to rest in the belly. Deep breath in and out. And just take a moment to notice how you feel now, having moved through those different states and feelings and experiences. I'm going to move through intentionally one more time, using the yoga posture tree, combining with our bodily felt sense of the state. So coming onto your right leg again, setting up your tree, could be here on the ankle, above the knee, into the upper thigh. Bring the hands up. Look somewhere softly for balance. And then in one pose, remember where you felt the dorsal vagal energy and the sensation of it. Can you bring that to your body for a moment? Bring the sympathetic, remembering by locating within your body where it primarily lived. And then your ventral vagal. Beautiful. This time we're going to bring the hands together in prayer. And bring them down in front of the face, in front of the heart, down to the hips. Knee comes to the front and back to the floor. Great. Last time, stabilize through your left foot. Bring the right foot to your chosen position. Invite your arms up and your gaze to steady out in front of you. And invite yourself to move through the states. This is called rising up the autonomic ladder, the automatic. What for most of us are automatic responses in the body can become much more conscious experiences and deliberate rather than so automatic as we begin to become more attuned and more aware. Dorsal. Notice where you felt it in your body. See if you can feel that. Locate the heart of sympathetic energy in your body. Allow that to be there for a few breaths. And then ventral vagal. Beautiful. Hands up into prayer. Slowly down past the face. The heart, down to the hips. Knee to the front. And foot to the floor. Taking the hands out, breath in. Exhale, hands to heart. Close down the eyes for a moment. Just let yourself feel for a breath here. Then again, hands down, breath in, hands out and up. And exhale to a forward fold. We're just going to let it all go now, down to the earth. So you can rest the fingertips down onto the ground or towards the ground. And just offering all of your practice down into the stability of the earth, into the bigness of the earth. Let the earth hold all of this. And hands to the floor, we're going to step back to a downward facing dog position, 3 breaths. Gently grip the floor with the fingertips, press down between thumb and forefinger. Take an in-breath to rise up through the hips and find length as much as you can through the spine. And then the out breath to take heels towards the floor. We're going to hold for 3 breaths. On your inhale, rise up onto the toes and glide the torso forward, rounded through the upper back till you find plank pose, hips and shoulders level. Come down if you need to, but otherwise holding again here for 3 breaths. Then knees to the floor. Breath in, belly down, head and tailbone up. Breath out to round. 2 more, inhale. Exhale. Last one, inhale. And exhale. Inhale to neutral. Exhale, knees out wide, toes touching, hips back to heels, and down to child's pose. Walk the hands back towards you, breath in to come up. Breath out. Draw the knees together, slide off to the side. Rolling the legs out to the front, all the way back down onto our backs, knees to the chest. And coming to a twist here, arms out to the sides, palms down on the floor, breath in. And as you breathe out, exhale. As you breathe out, I recommend you exhale. As you exhale, knees over towards the right elbow. And you can let all of the legs come down onto the floor here, feet, knees, lower legs. And if the left shoulder peels up, that's okay, just let that happen. And then use the breath to invite that left shoulder back down further behind you towards the floor. You may even want to look over your left fingertips. Good. Inhale to draw the knees to the center. And exhale to take them over to the other side. Breath in, knees to the center. And breath out. Bring your hands down by your hips. Turn the palms up. Soles of the feet to the floor. And gently slide one leg and then the other out long. Letting the feet fall open. Shuffle as you need to find your widest, most spread and comfortable position in Shavasana. Close down the eyes. And begin again to notice your body breathing. Invite a veil of softness down over the eyes, cheeks, tongue, lips, jaw, throat, neck, shoulders, upper chest and upper back. Down the right arm into the fingertips. Down the left arm into the fingertips. Down through the chest and upper back. Ribs, front, sides and back. Mid belly, mid back. Lower belly, lower back. Hips and whole of the pelvis. Right leg all the way down to the toes. Left leg all the way down to the toes. And continuing here for a few minutes in utter simplicity. Simply being with whatever arises in the body. Whatever you can feel. Anchoring back through the breath if you become distracted. Grateful for your attention that has scanned your environment for you. Warmly inviting it back to join the breath. To join the inner world of the body. Gently begin to deepen the breath. Wriggle the fingers and toes. Moving the wrists and the ankles. Gently drawing one knee and the other up to the chest. Have a big yawn if that comes on you. Stretch out the arms.
Roll to the side, and whatever hand is on top and touching the earth, just take a moment to feel that connection down into the earth. And pressing up into a seated position. And then once again, hand to heart and hand to belly. And we just take a moment to acknowledge ourselves and the opening and access that our body has given to its experience. Grateful for the wisdom that unfolds for us. I'm grateful for the teachings and practices that guide us in how we might do this. And bringing hands to touch in prayer, grounding through the sit bones, aware of our connection to the earth, lifting through the crown, aware of our connection to the ether, to the heavens above. Breath in. And breath out, we simply bow forward to acknowledge and recognize all of this. Thank you all for your practice, presence, and participation today. Namaste. So I'm going to end the recording, and then if anyone wants to unmute and ask any questions or have any comments or concerns, and also feel free to just leave if you wish to.